Welcome to Default Assault, where we take on everything by default. I am your host, Demosthenes from HilarityByDefault.com, and with me today is the student of the game himself, Kyle Nash. Say hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. You keep falling for that every time, Demosthenes. Come on.
It's your tagline.
God, I hope not.
In honor of Guardians of the Galaxy, we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And what better way to look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe than to replace them all with Disney characters? Yes, we're going to do this today. So, is Captain America a natural substitute for Donald Duck? Or, hey, they're both in the military,
For all the people watching this right now, I want the record to know that I knew what the topic was tonight, and I'm still amazed that he's actually introducing it this way, folks.
Try to keep things more interesting. That's why our show is called Default Assault. It's an assault on your senses, Kyle.
By default.
Exactly. So there have been with Guardians. There will be 15 Marvel films out. So we can't go through every single character. So we decided to make this a trilogy. Tonight we're gonna start with the original Avengers lineup. Next time we come back to this, we're going to take a look at the new Avengers lineup. And then after that, we're going to take a look at the Guardians of the Galaxy lineup. What do you think, Kyle? Are you excited for this?
So, considering the fact that most of the stuff I watch in the theater right now is all things Marvel, and everything I'm watching on DVD because I have a 3-year-old daughter is Disney, I suppose I had no choice but to be ready for this mess. Let's do it.
See, that's the reason that Kyle had a daughter, so he can prep for this episode. That's dedication, folks.
3 years in advance.
So we're gonna take a look at the original Avengers lineup from Hawkeye, Black Widow, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. Maybe with a surprise here and there. But we're not just gonna stop there. No, we're gonna take a look at which Disney heroes would be fine replacements. And next week, which Disney villains would make fine replacements? A dark Avengers, if you will. So our only rules are, you can't have an overpowered character. You can't have, we're going to do Agent Coulson, but he's going to be played by Jafar. Well, guess what? Agent Coulson, who's already kind of a badass, Jafar, especially in genie form, he'd be able to make the Chitauri and Loki disappear with a snap of his fingers. That would be exciting in its own right. But no cheating.
Does that mean I can't pick him for Hawkeye? Darn it. Anyway.
And the other rule, obviously, we're not going to go with live action Disney films. As awesome as Wayne Szalinski would be as Ant-Man, that we tried to make it a little more to the point. And obviously we're not going to be delving into Lucasfilm characters such as Indiana Jones or any of the Star Wars characters, or obviously Marvel, because I'm going to have Captain America play Captain America. Yeah, exciting.
Don't be ridiculous. You would totally have Star-Lord play Captain America. No. Anyways.
That would be an interesting film. If every single Marvel film starred Star-Lord, it would be $1 million in my book. The Black Widow film starring Star-Lord. Now,
it still might improve the Justice League films. Whoa! Now be ready for all these trolls out there that are going to be like, but Demosthenes, Disney owns Marvel. They're all Disney characters. No! You got to be animated to make this mother, okay? If they aren't somebody who could have potentially said, hickatus, fickatus, motherfucker, they don't count. That's all I'm saying. Don't be that guy. Anyways.
That's going to be our new tagline.
I was hoping you were going to say that. Anyway.
Default Assault. Hickatus, fickatus, motherfucker. Yeah, that's not going to get us kicked off of YouTube. No, not at all.
I don't have a counter here, but mark it, Demos. That's 2 bleeps you got.
This entire episode, is going to be a photoshopping nightmare. I'm going to have to stay up nights photoshopping Donald Duck's head on Thor. Uh,
Since this is a pop culture podcast, I have to ask real quick, and maybe this is for the blooper reel. Is Die Hard a different movie if instead of yippee-ki-yay, he says higgitus figgitus?
I would probably say Die Hard is already a 5-star movie in my opinion. If I can invent a 5.5 star, well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Die Hard with higgitus figgitus motherfucker would be a 5.5 star movie.
Oh God. Anyways,
so we're gonna start with the hero lineup, and we're gonna start with Hawkeye. Oh man, which Disney character could portray the most memorable of the original Avengers? The one who got the most significant screen time and was generally screwed over all the way around. Hawkeye. Now, I'll admit, Hawkeye was, I looked through the entire Disney lexicon. You don't just want to pick a character that has bow and arrow skills. I mean, originally I thought, okay, well, what about let's mix things up again a little bit. Let's get Merida from Brave.
I went to do it first.
Yeah, I mean, she has the bow and arrow skills, but her journey and her character, they're way too different. So Hawkeye actually went with probably the most obvious choice. I actually went with Robin Hood.
Yep.
They have obviously the bow and arrow skills. They're both heroic. They're both self-sacrificing. And when it comes to the lexicon of Disney heroes, he's probably one of the more understated ones.
Yeah.
So that's I think Robin Hood is a fine choice for that. Who did you pick, Kyle?
I too had Robin Hood. I thought about Merida at first. Again, the bow thing speaks for itself. And with the way that Marvel has retconned so many of their characters at current to either be of a different gender or nationality or sexual preference or whatever, throwing in Merida here would have been appropriate to that same spirit of Marvel retconning it, whether you're conning characters, whether you're pro or con the concept. But at Days in the Disney universe, Robin Hood's the best choice, period.
We're in agreement. This was an easy one. So number 2 on our list, we have the ever beautiful Black Widow. Black Widow was a tough one. Originally, I decided, okay, well, let's, the most obvious thing about Black Widow is the glowing red hair. And so immediately I thought, well, what about Jessica Rabbit? Okay, sexy, yes. Fighter, no. Although she has some pretty good booby traps.
Also capable of subterfuge, by the way.
Very true. Very true. I think her biggest action moment is when she knocks out the rabbit. So, I mean, that's could also be a euphemism for something. But I'm not going to go there. Once again, I actually thought of Merida.
Get out of my head, because that was my number 2 choice there, too. I like the soldierly concept. I like the rebel concept and the red hair as well, but go ahead.
And I finally decided, I'm going to combine something that, okay, we got the red hair going. We got the sexy, smooth, like honeysuckle voice. And we got tail feathers that you can't turn your eyes away from. I picked Iago as Black Widow because, no, I'm kidding. I think I just lost the entire audience.
Anyway.
No, I actually went with Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame. For a number of reasons. A, she's beautiful. She's smart. She's good at subterfuge. She's a gymnast, and I mean, by herself, she takes out Frollo's guards without batting an eye. Hell, I mean, she practically winks at the camera when she's doing it. So she has a lot of the elements that I see in Black Widow, except for the red hair. But for all I know, Black Widow might dye her hair. So I think that's a good choice. What'd you go with, Kyle?
Not a bad choice at all. I like the angle of subterfuge. Hunchback of Notre Dame being a Disney movie I had not partaken in. I was not as prepared, but I am aware that the character Esmeralda was a gypsy and had to do certain stuff like that in the story. Subterfuge, beautiful, spot on there. I got no problem with it. I leaned a little bit more on the female soldier, the person that keeps people in line while also being a leader. If you've looked not only at the original Avengers film, there's elements of it in Age of Ultron. There's elements of it in Captain America Civil War, where she's in there keeping people in line and thoroughly capable of kicking ass while bearing firearms. I went with Wreck-It Ralph's Sergeant Calhoun to play the Scarlett Johansson role in this case of the Black Widow.
Very fine choice. That she did cross my mind actually for a few things on this list. But the reason I kind of backed away from her was that there is an element of what's the best way to say this? The Black Widow does use her sensuality a lot to get the drop on the villains, and I didn't really get that from your choice.
Oh yeah, we concentrated on different elements with our choices. Frankly, if we combine the two, we got what we need. And no, before you make the joke, I am not suggesting a threesome with you, Esmeralda, and Sergeant Calhoun. Settle down.
I don't care if you're the one not suggesting it. I'm totally down with it.
At any rate, what have I done? Moving on.
My next choice, our next pick is Hulk. And, Hulk was, for the hero side, was one of my toughest picks. And I ended up going with, funny enough, from the exact same film, I actually ended up going with Wreck-It Ralph himself. And for a number of reasons. Just like Bruce, he doesn't like the fact that he has the ability to wreck and destroy. He shies away from it. So he has that element of Bruce, but he still retains that destructive power of the Hulk. And even more so, just like Bruce Banner and the Hulk, he's an outsider. He's shunned by the masses at large because they fear him. So that I thought was a good choice. And obviously, I mean, he's, as far as those characters go, he's probably the most invulnerable as compared to Fix-It Felix and so forth. But then again, this is a world where you have one-ups, so.
Legitimate, perfectly legitimate, and actually that's so legitimate. My speaking on this topic is completely illegitimate. My main choice is the same, and the person that I had thought about as an alternate to this point, I can't mention right now because I want to use him for somebody else down the line as another Marvel character. So I can't tell you who this character is. I can't. Well, no, if I do that, that might even give it away. I can't tell you who the Disney character is or who I'd have him play because the instant I say either, you already know what's going to happen.
So stay tuned.
Spoilers. No, actually, that's more of a trailer. Whatever. Teaser. Whatever.
Well, you see, that kind of brings us to our next choice, Thor, which was, honestly, when we were going through this, was the very first one I put down. And it was so easy to choose, I almost felt like choosing somebody else because I felt like it was too easy. It's almost a cheat. A god for god, from Norse mythology to Greek mythology, I went with Hercules. Yes, the obvious choice, but, they share a few different qualities other than, their godly backgrounds. They're both a little dense. They both don't quite get it, but they're heroic of spirit and of nature, and yeah, Hercules it is.
Hercules is so close. There's a demigod. You're comparing him with somebody with demigod-like qualities, and Thor.
Well, see, they're really aliens. They're not gods, Kyle. Let's get scientific about this.
I said demigod. Close enough. That's what primitive humans would call them as demigods, right? But I focused on a demigod of a different culture. And perhaps at the moment I'm influenced by my 3-year-old. But how do you not pick Maui as somebody who would be Thor here? But Kyle, Hercules is a good choice because he's strong and handsome too. First of all, look, check out the hair, the bod. It's there in the song for one. You're welcome. Two, see what I did there? 2, What is the one thing that defines Thor? It's an inanimate object. It's Mjolnir. It's the damn hammer. Now he has a hammer in the form of his magic hook. Hercules has no such thing.
Hercules has Danny DeVito. And if that doesn't drop the hammer on this conversation, nothing else will.
Somebody plugged themselves in the face with a sledgehammer before. That was cute. You did that. I hope you photoshopped that in there, Demos. And not with your face, by the way.
Son of a bitch. You're a traitor to your Greek background, going with an anti-Greek.
No, maybe I just have better plans for him.
Oh.
You like that, don't you, bitch?
I'll admit it almost hurt picking Hercules because I don't like that film. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know,
Here he goes.
As a fan of the mythology and going to school at the time, imagine going to school at the time when after this film came out and you're given the project of talking about Greek mythology, being Greek, and you start talking about how Hercules really, the reason why he was a demigod because of Zeus's dalliances with a human. And having the entire classroom erupt, yelling, "No! He was a god because he drank a potion by pain and panic." Yeah, like Jesus.
No.
Ugh. And when I think of Greek epics and a culture that is known, not just known for its influence in the world and democracy, but it's known for it's music and it's dance. Yeah, let's go with gospel music. I think that nails it. That nails it right on the head. I see what they were trying to do. I can't exactly hate on that too much. But imagine if they redid Aladdin with country western music.
Oh God! You know Stop it, Demos. You're hurting me. Look, okay. All I can tell you is, when it comes to people telling you about potions, it's the one driving you to drink. Let's move on.
Funny enough, I have my flask with me today because I was saving this for the moment I got to Hercules.
You're just rubbing in the fact I didn't make it in the store today. This is bull.
Okay, this
more than a shrink, folks.
All right. Fine choice, Maui. I see what you did with the hammer. That was very, very clever. I still think that when it comes to strength and invulnerability, Hercules has more in common with Thor from that aspect, but both fine choices. Captain
I didn't say how he win the fight. I just said he's a better analogy.
Yeah. Captain America, on the other hand. Oh, man. You know, I nearly went with a Pixar character with this. I actually nearly went with Woody, specifically because he's a natural leader. He's a good strategist, especially something that's especially evident in the climaxes of the first and third film, when they go against Sid and when they plan the entire breakout. But the one thing that held me back from going with Woody is, especially in the first two films, he's a very jealous character. In the first film, he's almost antagonistic. And I decided to go with somebody a little bit more pure of heart. Somebody that has been around for decades. In fact, this particular character shares something in common with Captain America, in that they both were used to sell war bonds during World War II. Ageless character, I went with the natural-born leader of the kingdom, Mickey Mouse.
Lame.
But perfect. Both natural leaders. Mickey has countless times taken on giants and brought them down with his mousy wisdom, athleticism, and perseverance.
So let me stop you there. Here's the thing. You saw Civil War, right? Captain was just as capable of being full of bleep as any other normal human being, And the whole reason why we have antagonism is because the rest of the world said, hey, we got a problem with you causing destruction and taking people out that didn't matter. We need to keep you and your crew under control. The Woody thing was interesting. The lack of a super strength concept took him out of my head. Mickey was also interesting for the same same reason. And because he's kind of the title guy, even in the animated series they do of the Avengers, he's labeled as the first Avenger. If that doesn't match Mickey, I don't know what was. As much as that was a layup, in my opinion, I can see why you were lured to do it. However, much like with my choice for Maui, I dug deeper. Hercules was actually a consideration for Captain America, by the way. Just because of super strength being the main thing that Hercules is famous for, and him being all, but the patriotism national hero thing was kind of lost on me. So I went to a different Pixar film, and one I would argue is my favorite Pixar. I think it's a Pixar film. You're about to correct me if I'm wrong. But Mr. Incredible himself, the head of the family, Mr. Incredible, as voiced by Craig T. Nelson.
The man, coach himself.
That's right. Has the same set of powers with the indestructibility and the strength. Was a national symbol in his time and caused collateral damage unintentionally, which put him in trouble, just like it did in Civil War. Perfect analogy for the character. And I don't want to give too much away, but I might be able to show you later why he's capable of being a Civil War combatant in that concept, despite his purity.
Mr. Incredible is a fine choice. I can't hate on that. I did his name actually. A lot of the Incredibles popped up while I was thinking about doing this whole thing.
Oh, sure.
But I honestly, one of the reasons I kind of backed away from the Incredibles as a whole is because it is a superhero film. It was a little too on the nose for me. It doesn't make your choice. It doesn't lessen your choice. But that was my approach.
That's funny. You thought Mr. Incredible was too on the nose, where I thought Mickey was the same thing.
I see. I mean, Mickey is indestructible. I mean, if you watch some of the early Mickey Mouse cartoons, and actually I just did a review on this, which is probably one of the reasons that Mickey stood out to me a little bit more. I just wrote a review on Mickey's. I believe it was, if memory serves, his 7th appearance, 1929. Horrible short, actually. I didn't like the short very much. It's called the Barnyard Battle, and it's Mickey going to war. It's actually a kind of a World War I recreation, and he is kind of a bastard in this. He is able to almost single-handedly take out this entire army of evil cats, and at one point he's even standing on top of their carcasses, and he stabs like a flagpole up the rear of one of them. And of course, the flagpole, it's not a real flag, it's a pair of panties, which really shows you how different Disney was at that time. But Mickey developed. The Mickey that we know now today is obviously a little bit less masochistic, which is a very strange sentence.
Like it all, punk.
Oh boy. But that leaves us with one major character, the one that started it all, Iron Man. God, I had this one actually was tough a little bit. I feel like once again I kind of went with the obvious choice. I have a few runners up. I'm almost afraid to mention them because I have a feeling that at least one of my 2 runner-ups is your choice. So I'm going to hold off for you.
I'll go if you'd like.
Yeah, go.
I'll go.
Yeah, go.
Yes, I had as a consideration Buzz Lightyear, which is part of the reason that I had a consideration for Captain America to be Woody, like you, though he was like 3rd or 4th down the line. And then the natural evolution of Civil War between the two of them, because of the antagonism that existed early, makes sense. But I went a different direction. Tony Stark is 3 things: ego, money, suit. Now, The person in question doesn't have his own money, but handles a lot of his own money in his secret identity. Not really cocky. That's okay. But the suit is what's up. And if you all remember DuckTales, the cartoon, it was the jam. And how could you go without mentioning G.I.Z.M.O. Gizmo Duck as your Iron Man for the Disney characters?
Tony Stark, a.k.a. Fenton Crackshell. There we go.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure there has to exist. Somebody must have photoshopped Gizmo Duck in the colors of Iron Man. It must exist. If it doesn't exist, it's going to exist right now, right below, because I'm going to have to spend a night doing that myself.
I got to ask real quick, as a Disney guy, how did you feel about the Gizmo Duck announcement? Did I get the voice right?
You got it perfect. It was great. When the new DuckTales series is released, if they can get you to voice Gizmo Duck, the world will you would provide a good service to the world.
I mean, here's what it'll be. It'll be Mark Hamill as the Joker, and then me as Gizmo Duck. That's what the hell's.
Just what kind of a show do you think DuckTales is exactly?
Oh, they're making everything dark nowadays, son. You know what's up.
DuckTales. Woo-hoo.
DuckTales. Uh-oh.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, Gizmo Duck was my first runner-up. I didn't end up going. I took a look at it the same way you did, and yes, he's an accountant character. His real identity is an accounting character. So he handles a lot of money. Yeah, but he's also his personality, his real life personality is very, very far removed from Tony Stark. I mean, he's almost he's cowardly. The one theme that runs through almost all the Iron Man films is that Iron Man and Tony Stark are one and the same. The suit is part of him. So right. with Fenton, Crackshell, and Gizmo Duck, it's a dual identity. Iron Man is one singular person, and that's actually one of the reasons I went with Buzz Lightyear.
Okay.
He's overconfident, but he's full of himself. But he is a natural leader. He's heroic. He's pure. He is also. He shares that one other quality, which I just thought of right before we did the show. He's a natural mechanic. When his ship, he fixes up his ship. Yes, he fixes it up with tape because it's a cardboard box, but he still fixes his ship. He's self-sacrificing. Which especially at the end of the movie, the first movie, how many times he say, "Woody, go without me?" He jumps off the truck to save Woody. He goes up against a freaking dog 7 times his size. And you know what? If you go by the TV series, he lives on Capital Planet. He has a house at Capital Planet, which probably means he's also rich. And just like Tony Stark, he's multilingual.
Actually, let me help you get around the money thing better than you just did. Since he doesn't have a need for money because he's an effing toy, he's rich. Period.
I mean, in the toy universe, those batteries are worth quite a bit. It's the difference between life and death. I mean,
rich by selling the ship he retroed on the black market.
On eBay, you would make quite a bit right now. That's retro. That's 1995. It's a practical classic.
Yike!
I want to point out one other runner-up I had, which was Baymax from Big Hero 6, because he actually pretty much had an Iron Man-esque suit in that, almost the same colors, if memory serves. But once again, personality. I mean, he's a big bubble. I mean, I think I like our choice. From either side, our hero team would be. I mean, they'd probably be killed mercilessly, but they would still be pretty awesome.
I don't know, dude. I really think your weakness is going to be Mr. Incredible just thrashing Mickey one-on-one, at which point Maui and Mr. Incredible would then team up to take on Hercules. I like my chances then.
Hercules, like Mickey Mouse, has survived for thousands of years.
Okay, hold up. You woke up this morning You didn't think you would ever utter the phrase Hercules like Mickey Mouse ever in your life. I use comparisons between Mickey and Hercules all the time, said no one ever. Okay? I'm just throwing that out there.
I have to set a precedent, Kyle. It has to start here. The line is being drawn here.
The line should be drawn here. That's right.
Bonus round. Agent Coulson. What do you think? Who would you go with as the self-sacrificing shield agent that won everybody's heart that they had to resurrect him in a long-running TV show?
First of all, look, man, he's got to be a dude you cheer for no matter the bleep what. For every bit as wholesome and pure that you thought Captain America may have been, this guy should take you a step further. And really, the biggest knock that you could hand Coulson is that he's a fanboy. That's what it comes down to. But he's assigned to whoever it is he's supposed to follow and take care of. And then he does a lot of awesome, dirty, difficult tasks to pull it off. And oh, by the way, he's trying to recruit and persuade at all the same time. All those things in my mind took a very odd turn. As this morning, I was even struggling, who the bleep is Coulson? And then it hit me like a wand touching a puppet to make him a real boy. Jiminy Cricket is your damn Agent Coulson. You tell me a dirty deed he won't do to get things done for his boy, Pinocchio. Literal and figurative, depending on what part of the movie you are. No, I'm not saying Pinocchio's Captain America. But hey, I'm willing to bet if Jiminy Cricket meant Mr. Incredible, he'd have his trading card as well. Yeah, that's where I fall for Coulson as an Avenger, Disney animated style. Boom.
That's a great choice. Jiminy Cricket is a great, great choice. I focus a little bit more on the fact that he's kind of he's overlooked in many ways. I mean, yes, he won the hearts of many, but he's kind of quirky, sometimes almost annoyingly so. I actually went with something far different. I went with a Black Cauldron character. I went with Gurgi.
I thought about that.
Yeah, a character that literally sacrifices himself for his friends. Towards the, well, spoiler alert.
Plus years later.
Yeah, right. 1985. That's, oh man.
I saw that in the theater when I was a kid, but moving on.
You did?
I did.
How'd you like the fact that Care Bears kicked its ass at the box office?
I didn't know about that back then. I probably saw both movies back then because I watched Care Bears as a kid too. I mean, like, Care Bears are gangster though, man. Like, they're bears. They wear whatever the hell color they want, and you mess with them, they shoot beams out of their bellies and kick your ass with love.
If there's one thing I learned as a kid is you don't f*** with the Care Bear stare.
I'm trying to tell you, dude. Like, it's there staring dudes down like, no. You get belly beams in your face that just beat you into submission with love. If that ain't gangsta, I don't know what is.
That's terrifying beyond belief if you think about it.
What can I say except you're welcome?
You're gonna turn this song into my Let It Go. I'm gonna go crazy every time I hear it. And yes, I go crazy whenever I hear the gosh darn song.
Demos?
Yes.
Breathe. You thought I was gonna say Let It Go, didn't you? Breathe.
I actually have a little bit more respect for you than that, but you're pushing it. Well, that just about does it for tonight's episode of Default Assault. Make sure to join us next week for a look at the dark Disney Avengers. Which villains would make great Avengers? Find out. And make sure to follow me at Default Hilarity at Twitter. Follow me on Facebook at Hilarity by Default. And also check out my website, surprise, surprise, hilaritybydefault.com. We review many Disney films. In fact, we have an ongoing series called Default Disney. We look at older Disney films, newer Disney films, everything with an adult perspective. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. Kyle, where can we find you?
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. And I know that I'm looking forward to seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Hopefully we'll have a chance to talk that up here again as well in the episode at some point once we've already seen it.
So make sure to like and subscribe. Tune in next week. And from all of us, higgitus figgitus motherfuckers by default. Yeah, we're getting banned from YouTube.